Welcome to Pharmaceutical Executives podcast series, Managing in the Era of Lean, featuring winners of the 2011 Emerging Leadership Awards, brought to you by Sejadim Relationship Management, the life sciences industry's leading provider of CRM, marketing, regulatory compliance, and data management solutions. For more information, please visit them on the web at www.cegedim.com.
Hello and welcome to Pharmaceutical Executives Magazine's Emerging Pharma Leaders 2011 podcast series. This is Jeff Schindler, Managing Editor of PharmExec. I am pleased to moderate our discussion today that will delve into key differentiators of leadership for the pharmaceutical industry in the 21st century. PharmExec's annual Emerging Pharma Leaders program showcases the best and brightest under the age of 45, the rising stars of the industry with an established record of leadership across diverse functions and geographies, in small molecules, biologics, diagnostics, and vaccines that will lead it into the future. One of our objectives in selecting this esteemed group is to celebrate the virtues of diversity. It's a precondition for helping large organizations adjust to a globalizing commercial environment. And so, with me today is one of our 30 emerging leaders chosen by the editors of PharmExec, Ms. Lynn Shatkis, International Marketing Training Director at Abbott Laboratories. Lynn, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so Lynn, I'd like to kick off our talk today by asking you first if you could tell me a little bit about your career path in pharma and how you landed in your current position today.
Sure. My career actually began in marketing communications in the energy industry until I joined Blue Cross Blue Shield Association around 1998. And I started my migration towards training and development then. Spending 7 years with Blue Cross in various roles that had training technology responsibilities, which was ultimately what led to my role at Abbott in 2004. And at that time, Abbott was just beginning to implement e-learning for their U.S. pharma sales force. So with the combination of experience in training and e-learning and technology and healthcare understanding, and it was a good fit. So I've been at Abbott since then, and in 2008, their international division was interested in mirroring what the U.S. was doing with technology-based training. So I did a 9-month rotation in Madrid, Spain, to share the U.S. successes and best practices for e-learning and to help with a startup across Western Europe. So once that rotation was finished, I returned to the U.S. and was fortunate enough to have an opportunity open up, and I moved into my current role as International Marketing Training Director.
And so now, coming full circle in your current role as International Marketing Training Director, what do you feel, in your opinion, makes an effective leader? What are some of the necessary skills that you would look for?
In my opinion, effective leaders are those who are able to balance the decision-making for strategic business outcomes with the needs of the individuals who contribute to the achievement of those outcomes. This requires not only the skill to organize forces and to guide teams, but also to do that without losing the human factor along the way. People are at the heart of any effective organization, and if they feel valued, they're much more successful. So I think that makes a very effective leader.
So the fact that you actually, are the leader of a team that consists of a certain amount of members, what do you actually look for out of your specific team members?
Well, likewise, effective team members are those who are actively engaged in the role they play in the success of the business outcomes as well. So those who step out of their individual role in order to see the bigger picture of their contribution. That requires their listening skills and a general curiosity in order to understand why their contributions are important and how they advance the business. And so for me, the greatest team members are those who are truly curious and engaged in what they're doing.
What about diverse roles or backgrounds? Does that play any role when selecting your team?
I think, it does, and specifically for the role that I'm in with international marketing, having a diverse viewpoint of cultures and experiences is extremely valuable in rounding out the team and making sure that you're really considering all angles and perspectives.
Given the changing landscape of the pharma industry as we know it, comes basically the changing essentials of leadership behavior. And so how do you motivate a staff in an environment that is now really predominantly focused on doing more with less?
Well, two things come to mind right away for me. The first, I think, essential element in motivating a team in that situation is for a leader to model that same behavior. So in other words, the leader has to be able to roll up their sleeves to reinforce that everyone is in it together and that no one is above finding new efficiencies, including leadership. And then I think the second critical element is that of transparency and being clear and honest about what's going on in an organization can ease some of that natural anxiety that arises in an environment of change. And so if a leader is willing to take the time to acknowledge its challenges, listen to the teams, and actively engage in open and honest dialogue about what's going on, it creates a better working dynamic during those times.
Well, besides the change, are there any other specific challenges that you face that you see coming up in the current environment?
Well, I can speak specifically for training and development in those types of organizations, and this is certainly not specific to healthcare, but the demand for speed and that faster training solutions across the board are needed. There's ongoing rapid change of technology in a global economy, and so training groups need to be able to be two steps ahead in order to truly advance an organization with skills. So that means reassessing some of the traditional training methods, which have longer development cycles, in exchange for those smaller, faster, and more modular, in-the-moment training interventions.
This is something that I've been posed myself in my role, and I'm curious to ask you the same question. But do you feel the middle manager is an endangered species now in pharma and also for the future?
I don't know if it's necessarily endangered and that it won't be around. I think it's legitimate that middle management, the role will look very different tomorrow than it does today, though. I don't have the answer, but I think that it definitely will change. I don't think it'll go away, but it will change.
Any predictions?
I don't know if I want to go that far to make a prediction. Necessarily. I just think people, the younger generations coming into the workforce is definitely going to affect what middle management looks like. The roles and responsibilities of what's expected of middle management will look different based on the changes that are going on with the global environment. There's so many different dynamics that are going to play into it that, like I said, I don't think it'll go away, but it will definitely change.
And what do you feel makes up a key element of a productive partnership? There's a lot of external groups, there's a lot of partnerships going around right now. So what are some of the keys to keeping that partnership productive?
I would say, in my opinion, it's the same elements that are important for internal partnerships and for those to be successful. A shared understanding of strategy, collaborative way of working together, honesty and clarity around direction. Those elements are universal regardless of where the partnership exists. So I don't think it should be approached any differently than how you would look at something internally. And
now, thinking big picture, what do you feel will be the prevalent organizational model for Big Pharma, let's say over the next 5 years? We're going to be focusing on innovation and research and development and true science, or are we considering ourselves more of a distribution platform to execute commercially the intentions of others?
I think that's a great question, but again, I'm not so sure if I have the predictive ability to give you a clear answer. I'm not sure if it's so black and white. I think maybe it's a little bit of both. In any case, I think the organizational model that's successful is the one that starts with the patient at the very center of everything. So whether it's innovating new solutions or marketing solutions of others, I think if it starts with the patient, that's what's going to drive success in the future of pharma.
Okay, well, Lynn, I'd really like to thank you very much for your insights and congratulate you one more time on being selected one of PharmaExec's Emerging Pharma Leaders for 2011. I very much appreciate your time in answering these questions. And to those of you out there listening, thanks as well.
Thanks so much. It was great to be a part of it.
Sejadim Relationship Management is proud to bring you the Pharmaceutical Executives podcast series, Managing in the Era of Lean, featuring the winners of the 2011 Emerging Leadership Awards. For more information, please visit them on the web at www.cegedim.com.